They met at a party, a chance encounter that would change their lives forever. She was radiant, her laughter echoing in his ears long after the night ended. Her presence was like a beacon, drawing him in with an irresistible force.
I was captivated by her warmth, her intelligence, her very essence. Every word she spoke, every gesture she made felt like a revelation.
Their connection was instant, a shared gaze that spoke volumes. It was as if they had known each other for a lifetime, even though they had just met. Days melted into weeks, weeks into months, their love blossoming with each passing season. They grew closer with each shared experience, each moment of joy and sorrow.
We were two souls intertwined, our happiness a tangible entity. Every embrace, every kiss felt like a promise of forever. I believed in our love, in our future, in her. She was my anchor, my guiding star.
He had never felt so seen, so understood. In her eyes, he found acceptance and a sense of belonging he had never known before. She listened to his dreams, his fears, his hopes, holding them as preciously as he held hers. Their conversations were deep, meaningful, and filled with mutual respect.
We built a life together, brick by brick, each moment adding to the strength of our bond. Our foundation was built on trust, respect, and an unwavering belief in the power of our love. We faced challenges together, always emerging stronger.
He cherished her, placing her on a pedestal, seeing her as the embodiment of love, loyalty, and everything good in the world. She was his muse, his inspiration. Together, they navigated life's journey hand in hand, their love a guiding light. They stood by each other through thick and thin, their bond unbreakable.
I had found my soulmate, my other half, the missing piece of my heart. I was complete. With her, I felt a sense of peace and fulfillment I had never known before.
They created a tapestry of memories together, each moment a thread woven into the fabric of their shared life. Candlelit dinners filled with shared laughter, where every smile and every glance spoke volumes of their affection. Lazy Sunday mornings spent tangled in each other's arms, where the world outside ceased to exist, and only their love mattered.
Vacations etched in our minds, each photograph a testament to our love, capturing moments of joy and discovery.
He remembered the way her eyes crinkled when she smiled, a smile that could light up the darkest of days, the way her hand fit perfectly in his, the sound of her voice whispering, "I love you," before they drifted off to sleep, creating a symphony of love and trust.
I held on to these memories, these precious moments of joy and shared intimacy, as if they were lifelines to our past.
They were a reminder of the love they had, the love they built, the love he believed was unbreakable, a love that stood the test of time.
I had given her my heart, my trust, my very soul, believing that our bond was eternal. I had poured every ounce of my being into our relationship, nurturing it with care and unwavering devotion, hoping it would flourish forever.
He had loved her completely, fiercely, unconditionally, with a passion that knew no bounds. He had believed their love was a fortress, impenetrable to the storms that life could throw their way, a sanctuary where they could always find solace. Then, subtly at first, things began to change. The warmth in her eyes seemed to dim, replaced by a distant look he couldn't quite decipher. It was as if a shadow had passed over her, obscuring the light that once shone so brightly.
Her laughter, once a constant melody in my ears, became less frequent, her smile strained. The joy that used to radiate from her seemed to fade, replaced by a forced cheerfulness that felt hollow. I could sense the change, but I didn't want to acknowledge it.
She became withdrawn, her silence speaking volumes. He brushed off his unease, attributing it to stress, fatigue, anything but the truth that was slowly, insidiously, taking root in his mind. He told himself it was just a phase, something they would get through together.
I noticed the missed calls, the late nights at work, the faint scent of a cologne that wasn't mine lingering on her skin. Each clue was a piece of a puzzle I didn't want to solve, a reality I wasn't ready to face.
He tried to ignore the gnawing doubt, the seed of suspicion that had been sown in his heart. He clung to the hope that he was overthinking, that his fears were unfounded. But the more he tried to push it away, the more it consumed him.
I clung to her reassurances, her excuses, desperately wanting to believe that everything was all right. I wanted to trust her, to believe in the love we had built. But the cracks in our facade were growing, and I could no longer ignore them.
But deep down, a part of him knew. The truth, like a shard of glass, pierced through his carefully constructed reality, leaving him reeling in its wake. He was left to grapple with the painful realization that the life he thought he knew was slipping through his fingers, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. The discovery was like a punch to the gut, stealing his breath, leaving him gasping for air in a world that suddenly felt cold and unfamiliar.
The texts, the calls, the undeniable evidence of her betrayal lay bare before me, mocking my naivety, my unwavering faith in her.
The woman he loved, the woman he had built a life with, the woman he had entrusted with his heart, had shattered his world into a million pieces.
The pain was unbearable, a visceral ache that radiated through every fiber of my being.
Betrayal, sharp and unforgiving, cut through his soul, leaving him bleeding with a hurt he never knew existed.
The memories we had created, the laughter we had shared, the love we had built, all felt tainted, poisoned by her deceit.
He was left adrift in a sea of despair, the wreckage of his dreams scattered around him.